So by now we know that the mole is a quantity that allows us to convert between number of particles and mass. And the way we do that is through the molar mass and Avogadro's number. So let's take a look at these 4 different substances on this table and think a little bit about particles and what we mean by that. So we have 4 different substances here. The first substance is sodium sulfate, and we know it's a compound because it has more than one capital letter, which means there's 2 or more elements and in a specific ratio, and that's the definition of a compound. We also know it's ionic because it has a metal, and anytime a metal is in a compound, we are going to classify that as ionic. We also see the polyatomic ion sulfate. So what the smallest particle of an ionic compound is not a molecule, it's known as a formula unit. And a formula unit has 2 sodium cations and 1 sulfate anion. The next substance, NH3, has a name of ammonia, and it is also a compound, and it is molecular because it's made of 2 or more nonmetals, and nitrogen and hydrogen are both nonmetals. Argon only has 1 capital letter and no subscript here, so that is an atom. And our last substance here is our old friend glucose, and this is a compound. It has 2 or more elements, and it exists as molecules as the smallest particle because the elements that make up glucose, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, are nonmetals. Now, what I want you to do right now is kind of think about the number of particles in a mole and molar mass, put it all together in this chart. So pause the video and determine the number of particles, formula units, molecules, or atoms of each substance, and then calculate the molar mass for each. So pause the video. All right, so let's take a look at our answers. The number of particles in a mole is always Avogadro's number, 6.022 times 10 to the 23. So in a mole of sodium sulfate, there are Avogadro's number of formula units, etc. Now the molar mass is calculated for compounds and found on the periodic table for the element. If you need a reminder of how to calculate the molar mass, there's a video on that. It's called Molar Mass of Molecules.